The vibes are on. It's raining outside, my knees are up high, we have a blanket here, my neon lights on, got a sweatshirt on. Bitch, it's that time to be cozy. Hello, I'm Styleboy and welcome to Mod, and yes, I'm literally just parting my hair differently. What are we thinking? Tell me the verdict, okay? Basically, I was kind of thinking about this because I think a person who watches my videos actually DM'd me about trying to find out their own diagnosis to do with autism and then coming out as being autistic. And then I was thinking about a video that I made a while ago which was talking about how coming out is not a joke. So, in this video, I thought I would do like a whole extensive guide of coming out, aka the art of coming out. Insert rainbow light. This video is going to be all about coming out in whatever capacity. In this video specifically, I will be talking about coming out as being part of the LGBTQ plus community and as being autistic, but this can literally apply to anything. So whether it is ADHD, OCD, anxiety, this is for you, but I will be mainly focusing on my experiences. And just to let you know that you're definitely not alone in this. Coming out is not easy, and you're definitely never alone in feeling like, oh my god, how am I gonna do it? How should I do it? I don't know if I will. And not being out, you're never alone, and if you ever want to talk to someone about it, your boy is here. But because you're here as well, guess what you should do? You should subscribe and hit the bell because you're here, so you might as well join the party. What was this? Let us begin. With this video, I think I'm gonna start off with how I came out officially. So coming out as gay, I first came out as bi when I was 15, and that was because I found a man hot. I had a little sexual awakening, let's just put it that way. And I was kind of panicking at first because I didn't know what it was, and I was sure that I liked girls, but I was 100% adamant like, yeah, I like boys, because I was realizing I started to look at men differently, such as Callum Hood from 5 Seconds of Summer and Dr. Spencer Reid. I have taste, okay? So I said that I was bi, and then a couple of years later, I came out as gay when I was 18, and that was the first time I came out publicly. I actually came out through an Instagram post, and it was actually the day of UK Pride, which was really sentimental to me. And honestly, it was such a like momentous moment, and I feel like, honestly, I just feel so proud of that. I remember literally the day I came out and then went to Pride, I literally felt so accepted and it felt so good. And during that journey of coming out, I've come out individually to different people. So I've come out to my family, to my friends, which there's a story with that one that I will have to say. Now coming out as autistic. So this one's a little bit different because I got diagnosed when I was 2, which again, huge privilege, because again, if you do not know, getting a diagnosis is not only expensive, but it's also really difficult to do. So honestly, getting a diagnosis so young is incredible, and my mom was on it. Like, I will say my mom was on it from the get-go. She knew exactly what she was doing. She knew everything. She made sure I had support. I'm pretty sure I got told when I was in year 3 that I was different and maybe I was autistic, but my brain didn't compute it. So I officially got told that I was autistic when I was 11, so in year 6. And for some odd reason, I cried, like heavily crying, like tears down my face. I remember being told with a guy in the room. It was like me, my mom, and the guy who I think I met before that was from the primary school that because I went to 2 primary schools. So I went to an autistic primary school before going into a mainstream primary school. And I think he was from the autistic primary school, and I remember him being there, and I just started crying when I found out. And then literally, it's so funny because the next moment, I just wanted to tell everyone. Like, I think I also got told from my family. I was crying, and then immediately I was like, yes, bitch, let's go and save the world. I was like, literally, I'm not kidding you. I think I wanted to go out onto the street and scream, I'm autistic. The thing is, again, I've had loads of responses, mixed responses, some great, some questionable. But just basically give you some tips and tricks because I feel like it can be scary. Like, believe me, I would say for me, it was more scary coming out as gay than coming out as autistic. And I remember coming out as gay, like, especially to loads of people, it was just petrifying because homophobia. I have to be honest with you. When I was younger, I dealt with homophobic bullying. When I first started secondary school, so like 11 to 12, I dealt with a lot of homophobic bullying. And then when I was 16, before I came out to the world, I dealt with a lot of homophobic bullying, and it really made me scared. And that was not even me revealing my identity, that was just people basing it off the way I acted, which is disgusting. So let me give you some tips. Like, I know we're gonna get off tangents, but that's the point. Tip 1, I would say for all of them, make sure you know what you feel comfortable coming out. Now granted, I will also say you can come out more than once, which is another tip I'll say later. But I would say, particularly if you're coming out as autistic, make sure you do your research. Because although you can come out, again, more than once and you can have multiple things. So for example, I know a lot of autistic people actually have ADHD and a lot of them are very linked. I think also OCD and social anxiety are all very much linked with autism. But I would definitely say do your research. If you can, talk to people who are autistic or members of the LGBTQ plus communities. That's actually what I did. I spoke to someone at the time who was the only guy that I knew who was part of the community. He did help. Like, he definitely helped in me feeling comfortable with my identity at least, and not being like panicked or rushed or in whatever way. Like, I knew he was there, like in case something stupid would happen, I know he'd be the one to be there, just to be like, it's okay. So if you are able to, definitely talk to members of the communities, of both of them. Like, I would say that Actually Autistic TikToks on Instagram, she is incredible. Wow, definitely check her account out because it features loads of creators and a diverse range of creators with autism who produced autistic TikToks, and they are way more educational than sometimes diagnosis stuff on the NHS. So definitely check that out. For the LGBTQ community, honestly, like, Instagram is their haven, and I feel like it's so good because it honestly has made me feel a lot more safer and a lot more comfortable in my own identity. And again, you have me, so if you ever want to talk about stuff, my Instagram is Styleboy 1.0, so make sure you do come and chat if you ever have any questions. And talking about the more than one thingy, you might come out more than once, and that is fine. Honestly, sexuality and also disability or mental health, like, it is a journey and it is okay to come out more than once. So for example, you may come out as gay starting off, and then you might realize actually you're pansexual because you like all genders. Or maybe you might come out as bi first and pan, or even demisexual, or literally any sexuality. Again, these are journeys and it's okay to do it more than once. You are a multifaceted human. It's okay to have the labels and it's okay to be accepting within your identity. It's okay to have more than one thing about you. Like, it's natural. Like, for example, for me, I'm both autistic and gay. That doesn't make me any less of a human. It doesn't devalue me. Instead, it adds to my character and it makes me who I am today. So definitely do not think of it as a bad thing. Or even, for example, if you're trans and if you are a lesbian, that doesn't make you any less of a human. That's what I mean by, like, it's cool and it's good to have those both thingies. So please do not feel like shitty for that. It's okay to come out more than once. Number 3, it is your decision to come out. No one's telling you you have to. No one's telling you you should. It's literally your decision. And if anyone's making you feel pressured to do it, bitch, bye. Boy, bye. Girl, hi. I'm sorry, he's so cute. Anyway, but yeah, it's completely up to you. There is no rush. There is nothing to do with it. And the moment even you realize, hey, maybe I am a little different. Maybe I do like a guy, or maybe I feel like I am autistic. Definitely take your time. There's no rushing it. And again, it is your decision whether you want to or not. Because again, you don't even have to. Live your life, boo. Number 4, I would say do it in a place you feel comfortable and safe. So if you're going to do it and you've made a decision you want to do it, make sure you feel comfortable to do it. If you feel like you are uncomfortable, you do not feel safe in an environment to come out, don't do it. Do not risk your health and your safety just to be out. For example, if there's people who you know have very homophobic views, or you know will not accept you for you, do not come out. Because I know this is a bit of a weird argument, because coming out shouldn't really be a thing, because we should all be accepted into a world where we are able to love who we want to love and identify with how we want to identify and be who we want to be, if that makes sense. But at the same time, like, we don't, and coming out can honestly be liberating and be freeing and be incredible, but it can also be scary, dangerous and intimidating. So if you do not feel safe, don't do it. When I say don't, but make sure that the environment you're in is safe. So for example, if you're with a friend that you very much trust and that you feel like they would accept you for you, then do it. That's what I mean by in a safe environment where you feel like you will be accepted and you will be loved for your identity, whether it is your sexuality, your gender, your disability, whatever. Just make sure that you are safe and you are comfortable and you feel accepted within that environment. I would also recommend, please do someone you trust and someone who cares about you and someone who you feel like will really take care of you, because they're gonna be the people who are gonna continue to take care of you if someone's behavior changes as soon as you come out. So whether this is coming out as autistic and you're talking to a person you're interested in and you go, hey, I'm autistic, they do this like sympathy bullshit, like, oh, poor you, or they treat you like a friend versus treating you more than that, get them out. out because you are still human, and it feels like this is humongous misconception that autistic people don't feel love and they don't feel anyway, and that's ignorance. Now, I also know that not everyone's gonna have the answers and not everyone will know, which is a magical journey, and it's cool that you can learn as well as they can learn. Like, you both can learn together about your autistic or gay identity. Like, it's incredible. But at the same time, if they start to treat you any differently in a negative circumstance, it's bad. That's almost like the same within if you're coming out as LGBTQ+. If they start saying stuff like, oh my god, you're my gay best friend, and almost just putting you in this little category, or they start being like, that's fine, just don't hit on me, or any bullshit comment like that, fuck them and leave, because they're gonna make you feel so uncomfortable. And I know it's hard, believe me, it's so difficult when you fall out with someone because of how you identify. Like, I've had an experience where like I fell out with two of my friends because of my sexuality. One made a slightly homophobic comment and the other one kind of defended him, which made me feel shit. And when I told them that I didn't like it, one treated me differently and started to be like awkward and weird with me, which made me feel like shit, because it made me go like, okay, now I can't actually like say if you made a problem. And the other friend was just being ignorant, and when I told them like, hey, this is wrong, still went, I understand why you're upset, but no. And it just made me also feel terrible. You do not need people in your life like that. No way. Like, again, I've had some great experiences where people actually do want to learn about autism or about what it's like to be gay. But at the same time, it's like, do not push that. Which is another thing you have to say. As soon as you've come out, you still are able to set boundaries, and please feel comfortable to set boundaries. Just because you come out, that does not mean you're an open book. You don't have to tell the world every single piece of information, and you do not have to be as explicit. So if someone makes you feel uncomfortable, starts to ask you really uncomfortable questions, like this girl knew I was gay because again I was very openly out, and I was like, haha. Basically she said, would you ever have sex with a girl? Which again, that's a question I don't mind answering, and I said no, which I don't mind if it's just one, but she kept on pushing forward, be like, are you sure even if she were like a dildo, wouldn't you just do it? And I'm like, no. Oh, come on, like I bet you would. And it's like you pushing my boundaries, and it's making me feel uncomfortable. And then when I said to other people like, that actually made me feel really uncomfortable, they were like, oh, it's just because you're not that comfortable with her. Oh, it's like nothing. I'm like, but it is something, because it made me feel uncomfortable, and it made me feel like, it made me feel like segregated for being gay, because it's like, oh, I should have sex with a woman, if that makes sense. So, dick to them. Another story about coming out that made me feel really uncomfortable now. I came out as gay to one of my friends. He then started talking about how he's gonna get back with his ex immediately. Like, I'm very comfortable, and it was like the right time for me. I was like, hey, I'm gay. And he was like, this makes me feel so good, because this gives me hope that I'm gonna be back with my ex-girlfriend. What the fuck? And another coming out story, when you come out as autistic, the same ass comments come out. You don't look autistic. Oh my god, I would have never guessed. Oh, are you socially awkward then? Oh my god, nah. I was like, bitch, learn. If you don't receive comments, fuck him. And actually about coming out, like the actual of it don't even have to do it obviously. I am very much that person who would be upfront, just like, yeah, I'm gay. And I posted it on my Instagram being like, hey, I'm gay. But you don't even have to do that. Like, even my Instagram post, it was more about the picture of what was on it, which said about being autistic and gay. If you don't feel comfortable with that at all, you can give hints or allude to certain things. Like, for example, if you are gay, for example, or a lesbian, you can literally say, oh my god, I love a boyfriend. If you're talking with a bunch of people you feel comfortable with about how you want a boyfriend if you're a guy. And also there's no rush into it. Like I said, I know I keep on saying this, but there's absolutely no rush into it. And also with autistic, you don't even have to mention it. You can start talking about the other stuff to do with it. So for example, like you could talk about, okay, this is way too much. I need time to breathe, to do with like sensory overload, or if your social battery is gonna like die, because bitch, that's a feeling. So you could literally be like, hey, I just need 5 minutes to be by myself. You don't ever have to explicitly say it if you don't want to. And you can be really creative with it. Like you could be really artsy. There's so many coming out videos that are just so artsy and cool. Also celebrate yourself after. Like I feel like it is difficult, but do you know how liberating and freeing it feels once you are out? What I remember before I was out fully as gay, it was so uncomfortable for me to talk about love or guys or relationships with certain people, and it made me just feel so icky or just feeling so anxious about it. And I'm like, you don't have to feel that way. And that's what's really sad. And then as soon as you are out, it feels so free because you can speak about whatever, you can express yourself in whatever way, because I know that like not being out, it's so difficult to be free and be who you want to be. But as soon as you are, it's so liberating. And even with autism, like it makes stuff so much more easier coming out, and you feel so much more comfortable within yourself. Like I would say particularly last year, like I learned so much about my autism and about myself, and now I feel a lot more comfortable with me. Granted, I'm still learning. I think everyone's still learning. I feel that's such an important lesson to learn, is that everyone is still learning. But at the end of the day, it's so important that you feel comfortable and you feel free to be who you want to be, and I feel like it is massively important. So treat yourself, celebrate something. So whether that is something like watching your favorite film, investing in some gay media and celebrating it like crazy, like give me a good gay film. Yes, give me Love, Simon. Oh, I love Love, Simon. Or whether it is something like you literally start buying your first weighted blanket. I cannot recommend you a weighted blanket enough, although they are super expensive, so that's why I was like, treat yourself. Or even if you just want to get your favorite food and just buy something like that, like you should be able to celebrate the little moments in life, and especially because they're big milestones. Like coming out is such a huge milestone, and it's such a huge thing mentally to deal with. So 100% please do not feel like you have to. Only if you want to come out, do it, and I promise to you, you will feel so much more accepted and loved when you are able to come out. But please be safe also. Like I can't stress this enough. Like please do not do it if you do not feel safe or you do not feel comfortable. You do not need to feel pressured, and remember, you are allowed to set boundaries, although I'm still learning this. I guess that's the end of the video. I really hope you do enjoy it, and if you want a video about this more in detail, or any other videos to do with being part of the LGBTQ plus community or part of neurodivergent community, please comment down below. I shall see you guys next week with a new video. Bye y'all.